Well, we're back after a long weekend, which means it's time for the weekend box office report brought to you by our friends at AMC Theaters. Crushing even the loftiest of expectations was number one, Deadpool, bringing in a remarkable $132.7 million. At number two was Kung Fu Panda 3, holding strong at $19.8 million, followed by How to Be Single at number 3 with $17.9 million. Zoolander 2 opened at number 4 with $13.9 million, and rounding out the top 5 was The Revenant at $6.6 million. Mark, yours was slightly less wrong than most predictions. Are you shocked at how well Deadpool is doing?
Yeah, I'm really happy to say I was only $50 million under what Deadpool actually did. I thought it'd be around the $80 million range. I thought that was lofty. Apparently, we do have an oracle here at Collider, and that would be John Schnepp, who boldly proclaimed multiple times this movie was going to do over $100 million. After we saw the movie, we all wanted it to be that successful, but we just didn't think it's an R-rated movie. It's a lesser-known comic book hero. How is this possibly going to do it? I think it's word of mouth. I think it's a lot of different factors, but most of all, the marketing campaign. Everybody involved in the advertising of this movie should get the $35 million on top of the 100 that it made. You deserve it. Since this movie was announced, it was rated R, all the billboards, all the viral ad campaigns, everything that Deadpool has done to sell his movie has been so note perfect. It's been the best campaign I've ever seen, and it paid off this weekend. So I'm very happy to see Deadpool do that well. Zoolander 2, if you talk about like a critical reaction to Deadpool maybe upping its box office, Zoolander 2, I think we saw the opposite. People just didn't really have an appetite for this movie, and you can't really blame them because as much as I love the first Zoolander, it's 15 years later, and it's really hard to do a sequel to a comedy in general, much less one that takes place 15 years after it's already been in and then out of the public consciousness. So those are the two that really stand out to me. It's nice to see The Revenant holding at number 5. Josh, what stands out to you about this weekend?
I mean, you know, I'm a huge Zoolander fan. None of the trailers really excited me too much about it. And then word of mouth destroyed it. The hard part, like you said, Dumb and Dumber 2, again, like 20 plus years after the first one, Zoolander 15 years. The thing is they're no longer playing, it was a shock the first time. So they're no longer playing like acting these characters. Now they're a caricature of these characters. It's not a sequel, it's just like a revisiting of nostalgia. And we didn't need it. The movie's ended so well, we didn't need it. Now, Deadpool, on the other hand, I mean, if it sniffed 100, I would have been shocked. And to get over 135, dude, like you said, a marketing campaign like that, it's like the Mikey liking life cereal. Like it's legendary, right? That little kid eats that cereal, and all of a sudden, every kid in America wants that cereal. Deadpool comes out, it's like, this guy's the coolest superhero in the world. Everybody's going to be him for Halloween. I hope my little nephew starts swearing like Deadpool because it's going to be awesome.
You know, you make a great point because with Zoolander 2, you had people who were maybe doing impressions of characters, whereas with Deadpool, it felt like Ryan Reynolds was born to play this role. Dennis, did you see this thing cracking $100 million last week?
Not at all. Not at all. I wrongfully predicted $66 million, and it doubled that. Yeah, Schnepp, he got it on the mark. I wish he was here so he could take his victory lap. He's just going around and around this whole place.
Actually, that's why he's not here. He's actually running around the studio right now.
It takes him a while.
Yeah, no way. I predicted 66. I wouldn't have been shocked if it was 70-something or even 80-something. But for it to be $130-something million, crazy. The one thing, though, that I've been talking with people over the weekend and just in general is how much is this movie of a game changer? Because I don't actually think it is, as much as people think like, oh, it's an R-rated superhero movie. It made a ton of money. Let's just make every movie or superhero movie or comic book movie rated R. And I think that's the wrong lesson to learn, that people will learn from. I think studio execs might go, oh yeah, well, let's just make Wolverine. Let's make him R and have him drop F-bombs and like do stupid stuff and make sex jokes. And it's like, that's not the right fit. This just happened to be the right character with the right actor with the right, like, at the right time. It was just lightning in the bottle where I don't think we can replicate this again. I think it's great for Deadpool, but we just can't apply this to every single movie.
That's right. I don't think that people need to see a movie that's rated R strictly based on violence, because that can get really dark and really serious and not do that well at the box office, which is what a studio, if they're making an R-rated comic book film now, they hope to repeat the success of Deadpool. But you got to remember, Deadpool is a combination of great violence but amazing humor that is so quick with the jokes, and that R rating just gave them the freedom to do whatever they wanted in either vein. Josh, going forward, do you see studios greenlighting a bunch of R-rated comic book movies simply based off this?
Well, the hard part is it's like in The Office, right? It started that talking head kind of thing, and then Parks and Rec did it, then Modern Family did it, and it's beating a dead horse a little bit. I think with Deadpool, imitation is the highest form of flattery, but with the breaking of the fourth wall, you can't just do that. Yeah. That's the Deadpool thing, the Merc with the mouth, that whole thing. I think if they were to go a little bit darker, great. But if you're just doing gratuitous violence for gratuitous violence, these movies are going to just turn into Quentin Tarantino films.
Yeah, and I don't want to turn this into a battle between men and women, but look, it was Valentine's Day. So was there a little bit of a victory for dudes because Deadpool did so well and How to Be Single did capably? I mean, look, it was $17 million on Valentine's Day weekend for a film that was clearly marketed to be opening on Valentine's Day. Like, Deadpool could have opened any weekend out of the year. How to Be Single needed to open this particular weekend.
And what was the previous record holder? 50 Shades of Grey was the previous record holder of President's Day weekend at like 93 million. I don't think Deadpool even thought that it was going to do that. 50 Shades of Grey was this anomaly last year. Everybody freaked out. They're like, this can't happen. They greenlit like 9 sequels right after the first one. And Deadpool came in and just put that thing into submission, pun intended.
Dennis, we're going to get into some of the other movies that are coming out this weekend, a little bit later in the show. But do you see anything that's going to be able to knock Deadpool off in the next couple weeks?
No, I don't think so. This is one of those things where the viral marketing campaign overdid its job, where people just start talking about word of mouth, because people always say, oh, well, is word of mouth really that important? Yes, it is, because it brought Deadpool up and it took Zoolander way down. People listen. It's not just critics online or anything like that, but your friends. What are your friends talking about? Because if your friend is talking about Deadpool and how awesome it was, how raunchy, how violent it was, you're like, well, I never heard of this Deadpool. Maybe I should go check it out. And everyone goes to see it because they want to talk about it.
That's right. And we here at Collider, we're your friends.
Hey guys, if you like this clip, click here to watch the entire episode. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel because it'll help you stay up to date with all the stuff we've got going on here at Collider.